Imagine going to work every day with dread, constantly anxious, overwhelmed, and struggling to make it to Friday evening. That was me on the job as a dental assistant every single day. Fast forward to today, and I recently realized I actually like my job. What changed? Absolutely nothing. And absolutely everything. But it's not what you might think. Most of it was intentional, but there were some subtle things I would have missed had I not been paying attention. I want to talk about this in hopes that it could help someone out there escape the iron jaws of job hatred that almost seems to be a rite of passage in America. One thing I've always despised is hating Monday. I fought it relentlessly. I worked hard at keeping Mondays sacred, even more than Sundays, sadly. And I think that's where it started. My rebellion against the normal 9 to 5 life-sucking hamster wheel that we're all seemingly doomed to end up in. I saw it looming on the horizon. And I think maybe subconsciously, I started to run from it. Years later, and I only just got a job as a dental assistant, and not even 2 weeks into the post-training phase, my energetic and eternally optimistic bubble was about to pop. The overwhelm, it just kept coming. Every day I started in a hopeful prayer, and every evening I ended in a defeated slump, this close to quitting. The amount of times I've come this close to quitting, I can't even count. And I knew I wasn't special. Hating your job is practically an American pastime. Oh, remember when we used to drag ourselves out of bed so we could look out the window and wish for a freak snowstorm to show up to shut down the state so I didn't have to work that day? Oh yeah, good times, good times. Yeah, that was everybody, right? And I had a few wrenches thrown in the mix for my situation too. First of all, I only had a biology bachelor's degree, so I had zero experience in dentistry, the dental field at all. And second of all, I only got like 2.5 weeks with a previous dental assistant to even train under her. So while she was headed off to Myrtle Beach to live the life of Riley, I was slowly getting buried in hundreds of instruments and procedures and processes and softwares and techniques that I had to master in the space of 2 to 3 months so that I could pass the radiology and infection control exam, or I would end up paying $400 for a failed exam and squashed dignity. Pressure? Understatement. So it was at this point that I realized the one thing that had been keeping me afloat, especially through this part, inescapable. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ had me in his hands. I'd start up praying, feeling so anxious and scared, and I'd always end feeling reassured. And even when the day didn't go as smoothly as I'd like, I still felt like God was with me. There were times in the earlier days where I was so done, I was begging God to let me quit, and he wouldn't let me. Okay, so God and I have this deal that if there's something that I'm supposed to do, I ask him to not let me quit. And he didn't. He didn't let me quit. I just couldn't quit. So the first thing that helped me in terms of my perspective with my job was God. I just knew he had my back. And so my decisions, my intentions going forward, they had a solid foundation and more direction. But as I said earlier, I had this rebellious streak in me that was fighting this seemingly inevitable job hatred that was rising up. I saw it, a speck on the horizon, careening towards me at jet speed. And all I could think of was to brace for impact. Until I remembered what became one of my life mantras. I still don't remember what got me onto this, but it has got to be probably the most needle-moving decision I had made. It was so pivotal in that phase that I had a permanent bracelet made on Etsy that I wear to this day. Fun challenges. See problems in life as fun challenges. Don't focus on them as problems. When they're fun challenges, you can think critically, face them head on, and seek learning opportunities. Best of all, you can let go of the stress problems bring and instead embrace the life energy that challenges do. That's right out of my personal mantra diary, and I keep it on my wrist every single day so that I will never forget that beginning, because it was just the beginning. You see, after that, things changed drastically. And at the same time, it didn't change at all. What didn't change? The overwhelming environment, the boss with no natural sense of time, the squabbling coworkers, the constant shuffling of my schedule, the incessant testing of my boundaries, the unending list of things I still didn't know. Everything continued in that sense. But things still changed. Not overnight, but very obviously. I had a new tool, a new mindset. I literally set my mind. I was thinking of how everything that came up, how I could twist it to my benefit. Problem: the doctor needs to start another emergency root canal right now. Challenge: see if I can beat my best time in setting up a root canal without forgetting anything. Bonus: beat my best time in breaking down a root canal setup. There are just so many things. Problem: my coworker complains to me about everything. Challenge: defend my mental space from being infected by complaining energy. Bonus: learn and practice great ways to redirect a conversation, level up those communication skills. Problem: I'm outraged at how a certain coworker is speaking and behaving. Challenge: cool down and reset my emotions as fast as possible and don't let it spill on patience. Bonus: completely reverse the energy and leave a good taste in everybody's mouth. I think you're starting to get the flow, but that's essentially what I did day in and day out for years. It was God and my intention to change my mind in everything from moment to moment. And then something funny happened. One day I looked up and the complaining coworkers were gone. My schedule was being respected. Patients were in awe of my professionalism and adeptness. Even my boss was finishing on time. What? Yes, my work life is so much better than it used to be, but I almost didn't notice. Why? Because it didn't matter. I had learned a skill. I earned the skill to make anything and everything work for me. And I can't promise this for everyone, but a lot of the time, there's this funny thing where circumstances tend to change to match who you are. Don't ask me why. I didn't make the system. But the subtle thing that's so easy to miss is that behind the mantra fun challenges is more than just intention. It's the decisions that flow out of that intention. Just look back at my problem challenge examples. I could go on and on about how my decisions flowed out of my intentions, how I had to fight tooth and nail for the sanctity of my Mondays. Man, they tested me. Or how I had to fight ungratefulness that came out of being infected by my coworkers' opinions, not even my own. Or even how I had to practice real self-control so I wouldn't explode on any of my coworkers. I am a very slow to anger person normally, but they had me counting to 10 in the back room. The list goes on. That's big, but it's not even just that. My mantra of fun challenges ties into my ability to live unreasonably happy too. One day when I find the words, I'm gonna make a video in more depth on how I'm able to live with such happiness every single day. The fun challenges intention is so deep and wide. It touches so many things. I bet you even thought of some other tie-ins, some other connections in your life. Bottom line, your mind can take you out of anything. I'm living proof. You just have to believe it enough to set the intentions, to make the decisions. You and God can make it happen.